Welcome back from that break, and now let's get deep into the conversation. And over the decade, Nigeria have suffered from insurgency, terrorism, banditry, name it, whatever it is that you could name it. And over the years, especially from the northeast, Nigerians have not been able to sleep with their two eyes closed. Now seeing this development, what does this really mean for Nigeria as a country? What does this mean for the Nigerian people? What does this mean for us as a sovereign country? That's where we'll be diverting our attention this evening. I have two gentlemen with me in the studio. I have Comrade Duke Alamboye, who is the National President, Nigerian Youth Organization, and also Dr. Felix Tolurunji Udowu, who is a security expert. Gentlemen, you're both welcome, and thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you for having us.
I think it's safe to say Happy New Year, because for Comrade, I haven't seen you this year, and for Dr. Felix, it's a pleasure to have you.
Happy New Year to you and to the viewers.
Right.
We'll be going with our gift, our New Year gift.
No, I should be the one asking that from you, because you're the one who enjoyed the holiday throughout. We are the media. We are here for you people. We are here for the Nigerian people. We are
mentally and spiritually.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Let me begin with what do you make out of this development, the supply of military arms from the U.S. government to Nigeria?
Okay, first of all, it's a kind gesture. The last time I was in the mother station, I re-emphasized, when it seemed like Trump was going to have boots in our country. So I advocated that the best thing to do is to give Nigeria technical assistance. The best thing is to do to give Nigeria expertise assistance. So it's not as if as a nation we are capable, totally capable of solving this menace. It has grown from little sectoral incidences down to something very large that the country needs to give a holistic attention. So I think we've moved in the right direction. The government had really seen that the right thing to do is to collaborate to fight this. So many developed countries have done this, and it's not going to be sort of a shame or a downward look on the government. It's a collaboration to fight this menace, and I think I want to congratulate the government for the quick response in collaboration with the U.S. and also likewise the U.S. for also adhering to that delegation that went to meet the delegation in the U.S. to discuss this. I think these are the fruits, what it has yielded. These are the outcome of it. So we are very happy, and I think we're moving in the right direction. It's a welcome development.
Oh wow, really great. Now, Dr. Felix, what do you what exactly does this military consist of, and how significant are they in addressing this correct issue that we have, this insurgency, banditry, terrorism, anything you could think of?
I think it's long overdue, because just like what my brother here, Dr. Duke, just said, is adding more value to our security architecture, because we cannot just allow what has been taking over our attention, what has been distracting the country as a nation, what has been distracting the economic value of the country, to overwhelm us. So for the Americans to come into this fight now, it's an added advantage for us to be able to curve out this insurgency issues, so it can give us the picture of what we should look like before national development.
Well, some people would say, does this military support strengthen Nigeria's security forces, or does it expose gaps in the local defense production and self-reliance?
No, I disagree completely. You see, the U.S. is a world-class country. So if you even go to the UN Charter, it is the right thing to do, where nations protect nations, developed nations protect developing nations, not only in the economy, also during times like this. Insurgency, what they call that what was that thing used on Christian, genocide, war, humiliation of terrorism, humiliation of countries that are underdeveloped. The UN have the right to do that, and the US is a very predominant country when you talk about world's power. So it does not. You remember the times that Nigeria gave support, military support to African countries. so many African countries Nigeria has gone to liberate, join and fight for their liberation and oppression in the country. So the way Nigeria is like a mother country to African countries, the same way US is like the mother country to the world. Donald Trump, since he came in, is trying to bring back that culture, that standard US had found itself. So for Nigeria, nobody, even the smallest child in the country, knows that banditry is becoming out of hand. And for the time past, it has escalated to this extent because governments of the past have not really given it apt attention. I always emphasize that, look, if even a particular government, this Tinubu administration for 4 years, if what they achieve is only to end this banditry, it is enough. Now, if you come locally, there's a lot of factors that limitates the survival or the pursuit of insecurity. Political instance is there, regional instances are there. So many things. Economic is also biting hard. So if you look at all this militating the progress the military is supposed to do, it is eminent. It is very, 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 very important that we have a synergy. And not just having a loose synergy. What I mean by loose synergy is that a synergy that will not translate to defeating insurgency in our country. So you look at the body language of the US, the 2 bomb blasts, if I'm not mistaken, that had happened in our country. It sends it's tough body language to the bandits, and you see they're flying from one state to the other. So we also need to rearrange ourselves. I keep on hammering on the porosities in our borders, in our internal borders. You see bandits traveling from Kogi to Nasarawa, from Nasarawa to whatever way states. At the time that they are having this pursuit, we should also know that there will be that spread. They will begin to spread and begin to also cause mayhem here and there in the country. So it is not just allowing that support. It's not just allowing that aid given to our countries, also to see how we can now use our local forces. That's why I say it's not a lacuna. There must be a combined force. We are not strong technologically, so we need technology support to target these criminals, these bandits, and hit on them. While that is happening, our local efforts must be put in place. State blocking them from entering volatile areas and all of that. So I think there's no lacuna. It's not a show of shame. It's not a show of substandard armed force we have. Nigeria have one of the best armed forces in the world. So where we are lagging, other countries can also supplement, and then we push up the effort of solving these issues once and for all. So I think that combination is very fine. Nigeria has also rendered help to other countries.
Right, I'll come back to that military equipment you mentioned. But before then, Dr. Felix, we've seen this situation, you know, the way it has navigated from where we used to know the usual north east down to the Federal Capital Territory. I mean, it's worrisome. And how worried is that to you as a security expert?
Well, basically, I will just say that it's worrisome though, but it's not that worrisome. In as much as
why do you say it's not that worrisome?
It's not that worrisome in the sense that if we can fund our security, one of the biggest challenge we have in the security architecture is that the inability to fund them properly, because somebody that you have not given food can disorganize your security architecture. I hope you get it. So there is need for the Minister of FCT who coordinates the FCT to take care of the security architecture in FCT, not minding the fact that the headquarters of all security agencies are in Abuja. Because sometimes, if we want to do our proper background check, you must not leverage on the headquarters. You must fund your own state security. Because FCT on its own is a state. And the power of spreading security funding in the FCT should be more than any other state, because this is where we have all the diplomatic powerhouses in the federal capital. This is where we have all the ministers. This is where we have all the senators, the legislators, and any other person that is important in Nigeria. So there is need for proper funding of whoever is the security head that is heading the FCT, so that they can be able to cover this insecurity. And also, they need what they call they're intelligent, and they need to work with the people, the citizens of the country, just like what police used to have. Police have what they call they have one department in security in the police that has to do with women, people who are not police.
Okay, civil police and police civil
something like that. So they need to have proper, because I know the DSS do have it, because the DG is doing properly well. They have what they call intelligence squad that are not employed by the DSS, but they extend that gesture to them to enable them to have what they call the INT department. Those ones have more social life. They relate with people. You don't even know they are security officers, but they gather what they call informations, and information is power to security. So if we are able to do that, if the minister can concentrate on FCT, so we can do that and get it right, it will help us. Because you can see, for example, the issue of one chance, some of the things that have been going on.
Yeah, very rampant.
It's very rampant, and it's worrisome to us. But with what we have been seeing so far, if everybody in the FCT can be security conscious, it will do us more better. It will help us to take out all these people, and they need to do more by enlightening people on what they call social security, because social security is very enormous in other states, in other country. But I think in Nigeria we are just trying to leverage on it now. It has not gotten to the doorstep of people. It's not that strong to where people can embrace what they call social security. Social security is not by the number. It's about the awareness of security, how you can be more vigilant as a person.
You know, I'm curious. It's a fantastic.
I just want to add to what he has said. I think concerning the Abuja. Abuja is Nigeria's federal capital, and for goodness sake, it should be treated like an egg when it comes to insecurity. It's a seat of power
and safety.
Yes, it's a seat of power, like you rightly said. It carries lots of personalities, and the minister of the FCT need to be deliberate about this. I want to thank the structures that we even have commands, the FCT commands. I think the police have the police command, the
civil defense do,
they all have. So they should be more equipped, more vigilant. Security meetings in the FCT should be weekly, if not almost every day. We want to see patrols. We can't afford to joke with the FCT. Not to call one chance are just peripheral thefts that will exist in Abuja. No, that shouldn't happen. So there's a lot to do. Play of technology. If you go to Rwanda, the capital city, Kigali, there are cameras everywhere. Lagos has also adopted that. If you go to the islands, you see cameras everywhere now, so that they have a central point where they collect the information. So disseminated to all the arms, the local what they call the commands, and they take, and security becomes very, very effective. Abuja should not be where you joke with. Yes, we appreciate the infrastructures that are going on, but without, look at even the bridges that are being constructed, the ways that are being rehabilitated. These criminals are picking out those iron materials.
That's
infrastructure theft. So technology is very key. So there must be a deliberate attention. If our federal capital territory is not safe, what are we talking about safety again?
All right. Now, Dr. Felix, it's quite fantastic to see the development between Nigeria and the US. But I'm just curious about, would they be here for us forever?
No.
Would they be here with us forever? How long are they going to support us? But then, give us a better understanding of what you make out of our borders. We know quite all right that our borders are very porous. Now, is the US going to be here for us forever? And if no, what happens when, this collaboration between them, has come to an end, and from there, where should Nigeria take it up from? Because we've had cases where we say that some of these terrorists are not even Nigerians. We've had cases where they say some are from Mali, Burkina Faso, Chad, and the rest of it. So now, and we're talking about, dealing with this problem. Our borders are very porous. Give us a better understanding of what you think.
Now, let me just quickly tell the nation that when we talk about national security. Nigeria have one of the best in the world. So what we are going through is not just about Nigeria, it's political.
Okay.
Until when we have, if our president will help us to give an instruction, an order for the security agent to be empowered to take decision without political intervention, that will help us. It's not just about our borders are porous. Yes, it's porous because of political interests.
Okay.
Not because as the military we are not strong, as a security, not because we are not strong. We are very better to anybody. America giving us support is because they just feel that the political aspect of our Nigerian security architecture has been bastardized. So there is need for America to quickly step in so that our politicians who are bastardizing our security architecture will step aside. That is why the Americans are coming in. But I can guarantee you that without American, if our president will put his feet on the ground and give an instruction for our security agency to take charge, we have the best. We can deliver. But because of the political inclination, has made some of the security agency to back out.
Do you think political motives is the reason why
that's why we're suffering?
Why we're still here?
No, that's why
when it comes
presently
to
why the country Nigeria is still standing where we are is because of political motive, not because of anything. We are strong as a nation. We are ready. We are go-getters as a country. But if they can please see, I want to tell our politicians that nobody is above 100 years in this world. So if you know that you are not above 100 years, why killing the future of this country with your personal interests? There is need for us to back out and allow the country to be on autopilot.
You strongly believe that our politicians are...
They are the major problem of this country. Nothing more than that. The country is good to go. But because of the political hands in the country, it's a little bit drawing us backward. So there is need for politicians to back out. Let's build this country together. It belongs to all of us. We have professionals out there. Even the American security architecture we are talking about right now, Nigerians are fully there. They're involved in it. So what are we saying? Do you think Nigerians are not ready to come back home? They are scared. Because they feel that if they want to say something, there's a politician who will not allow it to flow. Politicians should back out. Let this country build themselves so that the future of the children we are going to leave behind can pilot the affairs of Nigeria.
All right, thank you. Now, comrade, the U.S. has previously placed conditions on military assistance, especially concerning human rights. Should Nigerians be concerned about strings attached to this new collaboration?
Yes, of course. There are conditions. We are not what
do you think are the strings behind this collaboration?
Yeah, in everything, people say that the U.S. does not go to rescue where they don't have interest. Yeah, of course.
But do you think that is true?
In my opening speech, I told you that they are power nation. So every power nation have two intentions. Number one, to rescue. Number two, an interest. So the interest might be generic, the interest might also be personal. So that depends on the US. But the body language they've shown to Nigeria, I think there's a deliberate action to save Nigeria out of this menace. However way you want to look at it, whether they have a political interest, whether they have personal interest or generic interest, at the time what we need is solution. So not solution, however, to the detriment of our sovereignty.
Okay.
I have not seen anywhere they're infringing on our sovereignty as a nation. I'm saying that they need to come to a country that they know that is bigger. Like you rightly said, Nigeria is too big. Nigeria is too powerful to be where we are. We should have been far better than this. But the political measure, corrupt leaders had hindered our growth. So if one of the resultant effect of it is this insurgency that we're having, is politically motivated. The origin of all these things are politically motivated. And secondly, economy has also brought about all of this. So I think Nigerians presently should not bother themselves about any strings attached to the good intentions of the United States of America. So far, it does not tamper with our sovereignty. They have moved into several countries to do the same thing, and I've not seen. Is it Venezuela?
Yeah.
People say it's because of their oil, but you can see that that is not true. America is okay in its own self, but I think that one personal interest that Donald Trump is pursuing for America is to bring them back to that standard where they've been as world power.
You think what happened there does not tamper with sovereignty?
The people are happy.
They're happy.
The people are happy. The junta has been taken away, and they're happy. Democracy, however you want to look at it, the democracy is something that every country should embrace, because the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So everything about democracy is around the people, majority of the people, protection of the interests of the minority. Even if in Nigeria, I still believe that it is largely abused, but we will get it right. What I don't like about what is happening in our own country is doing things at the detriment of the safety
of the people.
It's not nice. We all know, we don't want to go back to history, how all this whole thing started, but we all know where and how it started, when it started, and look at where it has metamorphosed into. Like rightly cited, most of these persons that constitute this menace in our they are not even Nigerians. These are people that were brought into our country for political purposes, and they've settled down also looking for survival. In that cause, causing mayhem, causing unrest in our country. So I think this is not the time to talk about what is the interest of the US. The US, what I like it or not, what I like it or not, there's a peacekeeping.
So we don't get to the point where we'll have to, where it does look like we are left to choose between the devil and the deep blue sea. I'm just saying.
No, I don't think so. I'm not thinking that, because the first instance, you saw how Nigerians resisted it when they said they're going to take boots into our country. Nigeria is, when Donald Trump mentioned that.
But what would you think, or what would you say could be the interest of the US?
Normally, sorry sir. Normally, I think it's an obligation. They are the leaders of the UN, and one of the basic charter line of the UN is to protect member countries. So you must not forget that. And the US is a predominant country. It's one of the 6 power country. Secondly, Trump, as a person, as a ruler, is beginning to bring back that big brother role the US play in other developing countries. So it's not only in Nigeria. So, but I'm saying that I don't think that this collaboration will hinder or flee our sovereignty. Nigeria is an entity. Nigeria is a sovereign nation of its own. So the US also understands that. It's a pity we have exposed ourselves ineptitude to this kind of situation. But we really need help. And somebody that is done it does not decide which part of safety he wants.
Now, Dr. Felix, in your expertise, what do you think, or what would you say could be the interest of this collaboration, this renewed collaboration, if there is interest from the US at all? What would you think, or what would you say is
the interest is to get the country back to the feet together so that they can be able to grow economically? Because if you said, sometimes you may say what could be the interest, and the interest basically to me, by my own understanding, is to put the country back together so that they can function based on their economic value to the world. Nothing more than that. Some people may misinterpret it based on their own understanding. But for me, and the Security Agency of Nigeria, is to get the country back economically, security, and to make the global world know that the country is viable to do whatever that will make them grow together.
Don't forget, we have a treaty with Nigeria. With the US. Don't forget, they are also suppliers of some products in our country. We have a treaty, we have a bilateral agreement with the US. So we do business with the United States. So they can't just fold their hands and see Nigeria go down. So I think it is, for economic purposes, it's even very, very and the aspect of abuse of democracy is also predominant. I know that there was one time, still Donald Trump, I think in his first regime, he has also pointed accusing fingers of Nigerians not getting democracy right. So developed countries must always play that brotherly role when it comes to international relations.
Well, the US once restricted arms sales to Nigeria, citing human rights concerns some time ago, and now we're looking at this renewed support. Some will say that what about the restriction before? Has it been overlooked, or is just it no longer exists?
You know that we cannot play to the gallery to say that Nigeria there was no human rights abuse. Lots of human rights abuse, killings of innocent people. So the UN.
So that's what I'm saying.
I believe as a sanction. Now that is when a situation is getting worse. Now from that it has taken a riser to insurgency, and they have also illustrated it to say it is genocide. A particular set of people are being killed. So this is not what an international community, not even China, not even Germany, will stay and look at things deteriorate in a country they have a treaty with. Do you understand? So I think it's more than what is happening is more than suspension or whatever name you want to call it. There is a situation at hand, and it is eminent that they keep peace in Nigeria. And our government has also extended that hands of fellowship to say yes, we need such assistance, and I'm sure they would have dotted the I's, crossed the T's where necessary to make sure that the two countries do not infringe on anybody's right and sovereignty. So if we begin to tailor the discussion towards biased nature, we begin to give the narrative as if the US have a special interest where they want to. It is, like you rightly said, it is for the good of our nation. This thing, obviously, this menace that we're facing, insurgency, obviously, is out of our hand. It's not something that we can handle alone. So we need those technological support, we need those technical support, we need those military support to push this menace in the country. And then I think it terminates whatever. Once the country is peaceful, investors are beginning to foreign investors have to
have more economic value.
Okay. So it's not what we should be discussing on a small scale discussion. It is more than the country's military force.
Now, how confident should Nigeria be at these supplies, that these supplies will be effectively deployed and not diverted or mismanaged? Because we've seen cases where people have often asked, these bandits, these terrorists, how do they get armed? How do they get hold of those arms that they use? Who supplies them these arms? So there are still questions around, now that we've seen this, it has come from the US to Nigeria. How confident are we that these things will be managed well and it will not get into wrong hands?
Presently, I can guarantee you that with what we are doing right now, it's well managed, and in no time from now, you won't hear anything concerning the bandits. I just told you before now that the people behind all this menace are political figure. When you give somebody a wrong empowerment for your own personal interest, after achieving your personal interest, you can't do away with those people, and that is how we find ourselves in this problem. Now, permit me to tell you that why our borders are porous is because the people heading our borders are dancing to the interest of the people that place them in position. So automatically you should see insecurity and insurgency anywhere you find yourself, because they have been empowered, they know how to bring whatever they need to bring into the system of the country. But because of the great men who have been heading the security architecture of the country, it has also gotten to the level where myself and yourself and Dr. Duke will be on the studio, will not see somebody coming to hijack us on the studio. But I can guarantee you that in no time from now, this issue will be resolved. That's why the Americans could come in to give necessary support to the country, not because of personal interest, but because there is need. Because in economic wise, we have added more value to any country in the world. Go to any country, Nigerians are there. what they get from Nigeria when it comes to issue of agriculture, economic relevance, and otherwise is enormous. No country can give such that Nigeria have in Africa. But we know that there's no how a country that wants to grow economically will not have crisis. That's where we find ourselves. Now we have identified such problem. We are not just fighting it as a country. America has seen that there is need for them to interfere so that we can have a better Nigeria. That's why they came on board, so that they can support us. But with the support as well, we Nigerians must give necessary support by giving the necessary information, just like what the Minister of Defense, that's the retired CJ Musa, said. He said, if there is anywhere bandits are, we need more information from the people, which are the citizens of the country. So yourself, myself, that we are sitting down in this studio, we have a lot to do to help the insecurity. And I'm begging Nigerians too, who are the citizens of the country. There's no how you be in a community, you don't know people who live in your community. Once you notice that there's somebody who lives in your community and is not doing what he or she should do, please into the security agency. Because that's the only way we can get it right. You may be seeing somebody who is living flamboyant life and is not working, you cannot find where he or she is working. You cannot place he or she somewhere. It's a suspect. So there is need for us, not just because we are collecting money from the person. Speak, so we can get this right. It may be funding the terrorists. So there is need for us to quickly come in on board and work together to get this thing right. And mind you, I'm happy because of the tax reform bill. Do you know why this tax reform bill was initiated? To cut off this insecurity issue, because if you are paying money and there is no specification of what you are paying money for, you must be fully investigated. Okay. So it will help us as well. But I will leave that to NRS to do their job by doing what they call to educate the citizens of Nigeria on more, to throw more light on what the tax reform bill will do to the security agency, so that we can get it so we can get it right as a nation. All right, come back. Let me get your thoughts.
Let me add to what he has said. Putting round pegs in round holes. Today we have a Minister of Defense that is coming from the defense home. So strategically, it has been saddled with politicians, a compensation appointment. That ministry is strategic, that it governs Nigerians' security architecture. So when you're talking about accountability, how can we account for what is being put into, and perhaps with these funds or these assistance put into judicious uses? The man at the helm of affairs today is not just coming from the moon, it's coming from the clocks of within the military architecture, rose to the high rank of the military, and now overseeing the whole architecture. So I think it has come to a time that solutions were just before us. The minister is doing his job, the collaborations, everything is involved. He knows from the military angle what is supposed to be done, from the civilian angles, policy wise, what should be done. So I think, like rightly said, this is the time God himself, this is the time humanity had favored Nigerians. The will of the government to push this by order is also coming very well. The president had not relaxed. We can see the first time a president that is so determined to end this insurgency. And we cannot take this for granted. All hands must be on decks with the military. Just the day before yesterday, we attended the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. We heard what almost all the service chiefs spoke to the conscience of Nigerians. What is to be done, what they are doing. In fact, I was so happy when they said they are bringing back all veterans. Veterans that have retired, but they are still smart and experienced. They are bringing all of them back to be on board to see. So if they display some achievements of some veterans, it will marvel you and say, what are these people doing at home? The likes of sorry to call his name, Lawrence Onoja, retired general, Buratai, they are all the chief of minister that just left, sound minds. I think they need to come together to form a solid block to interface with this collaboration the US is bringing, to see that it is targeted and have a frame.
Let me have
a working what do you call it? A time frame,
working blueprint to function. Let me add to what Dr. Duke is just saying, is that basically let the governors not let it be to the president alone. In every state, there are top security officers who have retired. I think it is high time that governors must be responsible to bring the best hands they have in their state together, to have a collaboration with whoever that is functioning in the security architecture. Because you cannot just see people who retire in your state and you just abandon them and you think you can get it right. No. Leave the issue of politics aside. When you're a governor to the nation. You're a governor to the state. Call all the security, you have all the records of whoever that has been both present, retired, and whoever in the security architecture. Put them together. Have some conversation with them. Have a seminar with them. Have a discussion with them. You need these hands because they are professionals. Some of them retired as at the time that they are not due. And the intelligence they have will add more value to the state. So it's high time governors of Nigerian states must come together, put themselves together, have what they call national security summit, bringing all past and whoever that matters in the security architecture in their state, both retired and the present together, to have what they call a proper discussion on how to build the state security architecture so that we can get it right. They cannot leave it to the president. The president does not know those who are security officers, both present and retired in the state. It is the governor of the state that have all the records of whoever that has served the country, whoever that has retired from the state, so that it will help us to develop our security architecture.
All right, now, comrade, some people, some critics argue that insurgency in Nigeria is more of an intelligence, governance, and political problem than a weapon issue. Do you agree with that perspective?
Yeah, it varies. It depends on where you're coming from. So, insecurity in the nation, it differs. What is happening in the south, south is different. What is happening in the southeast is different. What is happening in the southwest is different. Northwest, north central, they have their own peculiarities. So the way, and that's how the weapons are different. Some are economic weapons, some are what they call sabotage. In the south side, it's more of sabotage, theft of assets, crude, and what they call this local name they call it people bunkering. So those are the kind of insurgency you see in the south. If you come to the east again, it's peculiar. It's different. If you come to the north central, peculiar, different. If you go to the eastern part, western part of Nigeria, so it depends on where you're coming from. But if you look at it again holistically, it's a mixture of weaponry and also that of economic sabotage. So, but more of intelligence. The DIA, the DSS, if they tell you the intelligence at their disposal. But again, technological deployment of personnel where you ordinarily would have used technology to do a survey is also a problem. So it has to be a mixture of technology intelligence to a physical combat. We lose so many of our personnel because some areas they are supposed to ordinarily deploy technology to do first surveillance analysis, we deploy, and then territorial differences is also a problem. These bandits, they know the territory that more than even some of the soldiers that are deployed to go and fight them. So you see killings of personnel here and there. So I think it depends on where you're coming from, but holistically, we need technological intervention to outweigh the force of human deployment. So they are both. We need both of them. One goes before the other. There is no way for you to survey this place. There is no way you begin to, first of all, send troops. There should be that ability to survey technologically, to see the use of drones and other surveillance equipment before you can ascertain a direct. That is why in the good country, when they target, They go for the target. They don't even necessarily disturb the whole community to pick out somebody. They just go straight to the person, and it's because they've done proper technological surveillance, and they go straight to where the person is, pick the person out, and then they move. So I think we need the two, but one will outplay the other depending on where you're coming from in the country.
Okay, now
you cannot say we are in the northwest or in the northwest or the northeast where bandits invade a church and they're all with gun. You want to now deploy intelligence. That one is a physical combat.
Yes, but to you, Dr. Felix, when it comes to intelligence gathering, we cannot do with it. I want to understand from your expertise, how far or how well do you think would you say we as a country, Nigeria, has gone when it comes to intelligence gathering and also to technology that he made reference to? How far or how well would you say with your knowledge that we've gone as a country in that aspect?
I think we're doing our best. It's just that
we are best enough so far.
We have done our best, and there's need for us to do more better.
Okay.
In the sense that the federal government should do more by funding the security agency, because sometimes some of the heads of security are even paying from their own purse to gather more intelligent informations. See, look, intelligent is even the security.
Okay.
Yeah. Intelligent is the security that the security need to perform their duty.
Okay.
So in every security architecture, the int department is more stronger than whatever you think you are doing. So they need more funds, because let me tell you, somebody you send to a club must be funded to go to a party and sit down there and play like a party person to gather the necessary information.
Okay.
So they need to be funded. That will help us. Technologically wise, when it comes to the issue of technical, we are not funded. The security agency are not funded. Because
but how bad is it?
It's bad to the point where
very bad
that they cannot say it.
Yes, and that is the
very bad.
That is the area that the US is coming to.
That is the area the US is coming on board, because they are coming technical, not because we are not strong enough to defend ourselves. Now, mind you, the people you train combat are the ones that were dismissed. That's why I don't like the issue of a security man did something, just dismiss he or she. Somebody who has committed a crime that was dismissed will continue with crime.
Okay. So what
we need as a nation is to keep such person in a particular department, that when we have issue of insurgency, we send them to the war front. America does that the same way. They don't just discard you to go home and rest. They keep you. When it comes to war, they send you in the war front. They give you all the necessary equipment. A thief knows a thief.
Okay.
But in a country like Nigeria, we just feel that somebody who is a professional, we are dismissing a professional to go home and rest. Check the issue of generals, from brigadier general to major general. Nigeria invests more money, even to the directorate of security, to the DIG, to the AIG. They spend serious money to train them. After some 3, 4, 5 months, they bring a junior to take over. They retire the senior officers. With this idea and the investment Nigeria has made, these people are home. So this ideology they have, who are they transmitting it to? Nobody. So there is need for us to not just retire these professionals, put them on a platform where Nigerians will be paying them and keep them to use for the interest of the country. If not so, we will not get it right. And some of these boys that are dismissed, don't just dismiss them. When you dismiss them, there's need for us to create another security architecture like all this vigilante. We'll put them into that place where we'll be paying them while we watch them, so that we will not get it wrong, because they are professionals. Somebody you have invested in, you are throwing out, you won't get peace, because you have invested in somebody to the degree that he or she is more powerful than the person that you are bringing on board. So there is need for us to have a synergy and know what we are doing, so we don't get it wrong.
Okay, but beyond hardware, do you think there are other ways the government could prioritize to sustainably defeat insurgency?
Yes, there are.
What's there are?
Partner with everybody, including the people, civil society organization, the relevant security agency, the country, the border country, advocacy, enlightenment. In Israel, I was privileged to be there for a security training for 6 months. I know what goes on there. In Israel, you cannot even go to high institution without having security background from 18. So we must be security conscious. Everybody in Israel is a security officer. But in Nigeria, do we have security awareness? It is only when we are going for NYC, that is when we have security background. And that's not good for a nation. So there is need for us to begin to build. I can remember in the 80s when we are growing up, our fathers are either security agency or police or whatever. You dare not misbehave as a grown-up child because they call you a barrack boy. And the barrack boy knows that when you misbehave, another soldier or another barrack man will deal with you. And your father will come back and shake the person and say thank you for making him have sense. But today, everybody has left their children carelessly. Most of the generation of Gen Z that you see today are looking for money. When they come back home, they are not even feeding their family. Nobody is there to talk, to ask or question, where did you get your source of income? Where did you get your car from? And these are what we call insecurity. Children are using their father for blood money. Children are using that even when they know that the blood money is not even functioning. So there is problem in family. So there is need for us to do what they call national orientation on insecurity between family and whoever that matters as far as the country is concerned. Because even the social security, if you introduce social security number in Nigeria today, it will not function. But a country as America and UK that is functioning with social security number is because they have security background.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with me in the studio this evening. I really do appreciate Comrade Duke Alamboye, who is the national president, Nigerian Youth Organization, and Dr. Felix Tolurunju Idowu, who is a security expert, has been speaking with us concerning the development between the cooperation of the U.S. and the Nigerian government to tackle insurgency. It's been a pleasure having both of you. Thank you very much for coming. I really do appreciate your contribution. As Nigeria continues to navigate complex security threats, partnerships such as this with the United States raise both hope and hard questions. While military support can enhance capacity, long-term peace would depend on leadership, accountability, intelligence, and addressing the root causes of conflicts. Many thanks to my guests for sharing their thoughts, and we will see you again on Friday. Don't forget, I am Chinaza Asewu. Remember that security is everybody's business. When you see something, please say something. That's why I'll leave it this evening. Until I come our way again on Friday, do have yourself a blessed evening and keep watching Captain Television. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye.